Hi, I'm Alex from Southern Ukulele Store. Maybe it's the time of year or maybe it's just the natural evolution of things, but baritone ukuleles now account for 3 out of 10 of our ukulele sales. I know, and I know that people out there are like, why? I think it's because most people try GCEA and then the baritone is an accompaniment rather than someone's main instrument. But that doesn't mean that the baritone isn't many people's main instrument. If you're somebody who sings and you want to accompany yourself, the range of the baritone might suit you more. If you just want a finger pick but you like those deeper notes, or perhaps you've tried to play guitar and it hasn't worked out, or you want something that bridges the gap between the ukulele and the guitar, after all, that's pretty much what the baritone ukulele has always done the best. So we're going to look at 10 baritone ukuleles today. Usually I do these kind of things in some semblance of price order, but I'm not going to do that today. We're just going to look at 10 baritone ukuleles. If you want information on pricing, you'll find links in the description. All of these ukuleles are available at southernukulelestore.co.uk. Let's begin. I want to start today with one of the undisputed kings of the baritone ukulele. This is a premium grade Kanile'a K-1. Kanile'a have been around since 1998. There are multiple generations of the Sousa family out there perfecting, honing and trying to improve the ukulele as the generations go by. A K1B in 2024 has had improvements made to it that just didn't exist in 2019-2020. We'll talk about the normal parts of the spec first, the conventional bits. The body is all solid Hawaiian Koa. This is a premium grade model, so Kanile'a's premium grade Koa. It's beautiful all the way around. It's got a really lovely back, this particular ukulele. You have an ebony fingerboard and bridge with white mother of pearl dots on the side and on the front of the fingerboard, going up to an ebony faceplate with open gear Kanile'a tuners. You have a 38mm nut width with a really nice wide 30mm string spacing. If I was to try and break down and summarise Hawaiian ukuleles in one go, what I would say is Kamaka do tradition, you have Kulau who do the custom thing very well, you have Koaloha who do quirky. They make, I think, probably the best soprano in concerts in the world, and then you've got Kanile'a who definitely, in my opinion, specialise in tenors and baritones. If you wanted a tenor 8 string, I mean, Joe Sousa himself plays the 8 string. You know, the man behind Kanile'a is into big instruments. They even make a super tenor shape, which is just chef's kiss. Good. What else do we need to know? Well, modern Kanile'as have a pin bridge. They come with Kanile'a strings. So that's a mixture of Worth strings with, I think it's GHS manufactured bronze wound strings for the basses. You have the True R bracing, which is a really lightweight, structured and weight relieved bracing. All modern Kanile'as have true reduction, which is a method that reduces the weight in the top. It makes them more light and fluffy and resonant. And that's especially present on the baritone, where you really feel the notes resonate against your body. I'm going to give the K1B Premium a play and see what you think. Whoa, this uke looks good on my screen. Does it look as good at home? Next up today, let's take a look at Kala's new contour series. This is the KA-CT-SSRW-BG. I know. The name is not that memorable. What you need to know is that the Kala Contour series launched with an acacia model, a mahogany model, and this spruce and rosewood model. So this is solid spruce top with a solid rosewood back and sides, making it a very projecting, loud, expressive ukulele in your hands. It has a cutaway, it has some very Kala styling, it has some very typical Kala aesthetic stylings, but modernised to mirror a lot of what Kala have done in their US facility over the last 10 years. For example, you have these oval inlays, and the shape is different too. It mirrors that of a big tenor. When we get to the Ohanas later on, you'll see that they have more of a concert shape enlarged, but this is more of a tenor shape enlarged. Obviously, you have the cutaway as well. You have a mahogany neck with an ebony fingerboard and bridge. You have a slotted headstock with Kala's open gear black tuners, a really nice heavy duty tuner. I have to say these are very, very comfortable in the hands. They have a really nice wide nut width with a thick neck, so they feel almost more guitar-like in your hands when you play them, but not to the extent that you would feel uncomfortable if you're used to the ukulele. You have Padauk binding, which is stained purple, a really lovely front and back binding that ties the whole thing together. The Contour series ukuleles also have these contours, which are a beveled edge in the top for comfort when you lean over the ukulele, and they come with a padded gig bag. Let's give this KA-CT-SSRW-BG a play and see what you think. Next up today we have the Ohana BK35G. This ukulele takes more of a nod at the tradition of the ukulele itself. The scale length of Ohana baritones is slightly shorter at around 19 inches to 20 inches, which mirror the early Favilla baritones, which was... The baritone ukulele has a great story, I've told it many times, but you had two companies, Favilla and Vega, both inventing the baritone ukulele at the same time for slightly different reasons. We'll go into that in another video. Anyway, the Favilla baritone was more like a big tenor, the concert shape, but with a tenor scale pulled slightly longer, whereas the Vega baritone was more like a tenor guitar shortened. So what you ended up with were these two slightly different things, and what I like about the baritone ukulele is that there's no fixed scale length or shape or size to this day. The BK35G is all solid mahogany with a high gloss finish. It's a traditional style ukulele in that the early baritones were largely made out of mahogany. It has a soulful sound, it's warm, it's cozy. That's what you want from a deeper sounding ukulele 9 times out of 10. Ohana baritones do follow convention in that they have a nice wide nut width with a very round, deep neck shape to them, so they feel good for chunky hands. But because of the shorter scale length, if you like less distance between the frets, this might be the one to go for. If you play in GCEA or you're looking to convert a baritone to GCEA, well, you shouldn't, but if you do, then this is also a great option. Anything by Ohana is a great option for that kind of thing. Let's give the BK35G a play and see what you think. Next up today, let's look at the Pono MBK, part of the Kalele series. This is all solid mahogany and it's stripped back. It's just a basic ukulele done well. There's no thrills, there's no binding, there's no rosette. You've just got this Kiawe fingerboard, which is a light equivalent to something like Indian rosewood, but it looks tropical, it looks Hawaiian. You've got this mahogany body, mahogany top, back and sides, all solid with a mahogany neck, going up to the ebony faceplate of a Pono with open gear Grover tuners and a 35mm nut width. So if you want a narrower nut width, Pono are your guys. One thing I'll note is that Pono used to use a lot of bone parts. That doesn't appear to be the case anymore. It looks nowadays like they're using a new bone nut and saddle, which is a composite material. Ponos they don't get a lot of love because the ukulele itself is kind of, we're stuck in this culture of kind of, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Which is not a bad thing. It's exciting. And the Ponos have just launched this as a kind of, it's like the anti-folk of ukuleles. It's just taken all of the thrills off of it and said, if you just want to play a good ukulele, we've got the thing for you. Which takes me to my closing statement. If you just want a no-thrills ukulele that's well made, Pono will always see you right. Let's give the MBK a play and see what you think. Oh, well, what's this? This is unusual. This is progress, my friends. This is the Kala USA Revelator, particularly an NS Koa B, one of the first baritone ukuleles to ever roll off of their production line in Petaluma. The Revelator design looks nothing like that of a traditional baritone, but what this ukulele reproduces so well is that lower frequency range that the baritone needs to thrive. So you have a slimline body. Let's talk about the shape a bit more. So you have a Hawaiian Koa top. So this is a high-grade Hawaiian Koa top, layered onto a mahogany body, which is kind of carved out. It's like a bowl shape. You have, I think, a three-piece back, but you do have a shape carved out of them. So the back and sides are one thing. The slimline body is great, but look how the neck joins the body. It's just so seamless, it's clean, it works really, really well. A cutaway for higher fret access. This model has an ebony fingerboard and bridge, going up to a Kala headstock, ebony headstock with a koa leaf inlay, gold open gear tuners. The Revelator's really gaining traction. It's come a long way from when Pete Howlett designed it in Wales. I've talked about the Revelator so many times in other videos. I urge you to check those videos out on our YouTube channel if you want more information. But for now, let's give this NS Koa B a play and see what you think. If you're new to the channel, by the way, the ukulele should be played this way round. I'm sorry I'm left-handed. I have to play this way round. I do what I can. I do what I can. Just imagine I'm playing it this way round. Yeah. Play this all day. Let's go from something aspirational now to something that's completely suited to a beginner. This is the Kiwaya KBU-1. The KBU-1 is part of Kiwaya's popular student series. They've always been more of a high-end brand with an emphasis on Japanese manufacturing and kind of a reputation for perfection. And when I say perfection, I mean like actual perfection. It's a bit worrying how good Kiwaya ukuleles are. You could look at 20 of them And it's like looking at fine art. You're looking for the flaw. The flaw is just not there. They did make some ukuleles more recently in China to make them more affordable, to bring players in with the Kiwaya name on the headstock in the hope that the brand would grow with the player. And the KBU-1 is the latest addition to that. So this is a classic style baritone ukulele with a longer 20.75 inch scale. It's laminate mahogany for the top, back and sides, but very, very resonant, very lightweight. It has a slotted headstock with some really good open gear black tuners and a 38mm nut width. So it's a nice wide nut width, but the neck shape itself, compared to the Ponos, Ohanas, Kalas we've looked at today, it's a slimmer neck with a wide nut, which, depending on the shape of your hand, how you play and what's comfortable, could be exactly what you're looking for. Let's give the KBU-1 a play and see what you think. Kiwaya. Just goes to show, laminate versus solid doesn't always mean everything. This is a laminate, and I think this is the 5th one I've played this morning while I'm filming this video. It's the bassiest. It's got the most bass coming out of it. Beautiful ukulele. Really good uke. If the Kiwaya was ticking all the boxes for you, then it's important to look at this ukulele as well. This is the Ohana UBU-20. This is another laminate mahogany ukulele. First of all, let's take it on face value. This is a lighter stain mahogany than the Kiwaya. The Kiwayas are always a few stains darker with a slightly reddish finish to them. This is much more stripped back like a Pono. Has a simple sound hole rosette, a mahogany neck. The neck shape on this is similar to the Kiwaya. Nice nut width, nice wide nut width with a slimmer depth to the neck. The other thing to note is this has a standard paddle style headstock and not a slotted headstock, so it's feeling slightly different in the hands. It's a bit lighter and a bit more well balanced in your hands when you hold it. The Ohana and the Kiwaya before both come with a gig bag, so if you're looking for your first baritone right now, these are both great choices. I wanted to compare them because this is something that I've been asked a lot recently, is the Kiwaya or the Ohana better? So you can hear the Ohana now and you can tell for yourself. Next up today, let's look at a semi-Southern Ukulele Store exclusive. This is the Uluru Hoa Hana. Hoa Hana, meaning partnership in Hawaii, is a collaboration between Southern Ukulele Store and World of Ukes, another UK-based ukulele store. My friend Matt. We've always worked together where we can to bring ukuleles that are exciting into the UK. By working together, quite often we can bring the price points down, or we find new and exciting things, and it's good to be able to share these kind of brands. Uluru are made in Vietnam. They are the house brand for a company called Ayers, who make ukuleles the old-fashioned way, have a very, very stringent, high-quality facility in Vietnam that a few different companies use for finishing and different parts, but Uluru is their house brand. They take it very, very seriously. You have a solid spruce top with solid oven coal back and sides. Really lovely piece of wood there with maple trim for the front and back and on the butt of the ukulele, that bottom seam. You have a tiny, very cute heel joint here. It's a very thin heel compared to everything else we're going to look at today, going up with a very, very steep curve to the neck. It's a mahogany neck with an ebony fingerboard and bridge. Maple binding on the neck with gold closed gear Uluru tuners, and a very distinctive headstock design for Uluru that you don't see on any other brands. It's kind of like a sheer drop with a slight curve. I love it. The Uluru has a more compact neck with a very round C shape to it. It feels different to everything else we're going to play today. One thing about Ulurus that make them different is the scale length. The scale length on this is 20.175 inches, which is, it's not quite an inch shorter than the average baritone, but it does make for a slightly snappier, slightly more responsive ukulele with just a tiny kind of hair's distance less on the fingerboard if you're used to a smaller size ukulele. I've noticed it's that intangible thing. If you don't know the measurement is different, you're playing it and you're wondering why it feels different. And I think that's testament to a good, very unique ukulele. The Hoa Hana ukuleles aren't available all the time. We get them in very, very small batches every year or every other year. But I love having them here, and I love when people can come in the shop and try them, and you'd be surprised how many people try something like this and they take it over a much more expensive Hawaiian equivalent ukulele. Let's give the Uluru Hoa Hana Spruce Open Coil model a play and see what you think. Take two. That is a very long sustain. Our penultimate ukulele today is the Snail SUB-M1. The SUB-M1 is one of Snail's first baritone ukuleles. It exists in part because we begged Snail to make it for a couple of years. The SUC-M1 and SUT-M1 had always been very popular models, and we wanted something that a beginner or an intermediate player looking to get their first serious ukulele without sort of breaking the bank might choose. Actually, price point wise, this is very similar to the Kiwaya we looked at earlier in the video and the Uma. It's perfectly suited to somebody looking to just dip their toe in the world of baritone ukulele without too much of a commitment. One thing of note is these ukuleles arrived to us in GCEA tuning, so the sound sample today is in DGBE to match everything else in the video. We have restrung this ukulele with a set of Ukes of Alex low D strings. This is laminate mahogany on the top, back and sides with a high gloss finish. An ebony fingerboard and bridge, which is exclusive to UK and European snails. A lot of the US and Far East distributed snail ukuleles will have Indian rosewood fingerboards and bridges. You have an ebony faceplate with the snail logo and closed gear tuners. The Snail has a 35mm nut width, once again a slightly more compact scale length, slightly shorter scale length. It's not quite 19 inches, it's more of a 20.2 inch scale length, so shorter than say a Kala or a Flight. So a little bit easier to play if you're somebody who struggles with high string tension or somebody who wants a snappier, brighter sound. The SUB-M1 is a solid choice for anyone out there looking to try a baritone for the first time. Let's give it a play and see what you think. SUB-M1. final ukulele we're going to look at today is a very special one-off custom from Ohana USA. Back in January, Romeo and I visited the Long Beach facility where this ukulele was made and met Brad, the luthier at Ohana. A very interesting guy with a history in fine art. He's served for his country and he's used all of the tools and things he learned along the way, as well as an apprenticeship under Pete Moreros at Cornerstone, to produce these one-off custom ukuleles. It's kind of straight from the mind of Brad into an instrument itself. This ukulele is a really nice high-grade Koa body, so you've got a very light gloss finish over Hawaiian Koa for the top, back and sides. He's used some really lovely figured pieces that shimmer in certain lights, but they can look slightly more kind of uniform on the front until you get up close. It's the kind of wood that the more closely you look at the instrument, the more detail you see. You have a gorgeous armrest cut into the body for comfort, a pin bridge design which is unique to Brad's lutherie style. You have abalone throughout as well, with an abalone rosette and abalone front binding. You have back abalone binding as well to go with that koa. It looks like a traditional kamaka, but it has the sensibilities of somebody who's looking to really push the ukulele forward. This whale motif, if you look up the fingerboard, you'll see you have this story here of the whales along the coastline jumping out of the water. This is all done by a single luthier. It's the most expensive ukulele we're going to look at today, but when you look at the attention to detail and the fact that this really has had a single set hands and eyes look at this ukulele, somebody who's been building ukuleles for a couple of years but has built, I think, well over 60 or 70 ukuleles in that time. Under the tutelage of Lewis Wu, the owner of Ohana, who himself is very much a ukulele historian, somebody with a really long storied history of working with ukuleles. You have the Ohana USA headstock there with a nice kind of unique curve to it. And then a really, really lovely comfortable volute in the back of the neck going on to these open gear Goto tuners. The ukulele has a wide nut width of 38mm with a wider string spacing. String spacing measures up close to 31mm. And the neck depth is very, very shallow. So it's a very, very precise ukulele to play. All of the kind of real estate of where your fingers go is on the fingerboard, because the back of the neck itself has an almost flat point where your thumb will sit as you play. So very, very articulate, very clean and very easy to play, as you would hope, because it is truly a custom shop one-off instrument. Someone asked me in an email to describe the sound of this ukulele, and I was trying to find the right words, but I sat and played it for the sound sample this morning, and what struck me is that most baritones have kind of a throaty, deeper baritone sound to it. Maybe it's the slightly reduced Ohana scale length, so this is more like a 19-inch scale, so it's almost between the average tenor and baritone, so slightly more compact, but with a really big, long body. Does that make sense? It's almost like a shorter scale baritone with an enlarged body. What you get is a kind of lingering sound. There's loads of sustain from the wound low strings, but the temperament, the actual body and the sound and feel of the ukulele, it kind of lingers around you more than anything else we're playing today, including Kanile'as. Kanile'as have a more direct sound. They reproduce the bass and they throw it across the room. There's volume, there's poise. This ukulele is more subtle, more nuanced. It's kind of like a giant tenor ukulele, but it has almost a guitar voicing to it that's unrelated to the DGBE tuning. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to give this one a play for you now and see what you think. There have it, folks. We're taking a look at 10 baritone ukuleles of varying prices and wood combinations, laminates, solids, cutaways, slimlines. You guess it, we've tried it in this video. Some of you might be wondering, why no Flight? Flight make great ukes and talk about them all the time. Well, the truth is, I've sold out of Flight ukuleles. I had another one lined up for this video originally that I couldn't feature. Flight, there's plenty of good baritones from Flight as well that we've done in some other videos recently. If you have any questions, please do contact us on 01202-430-820 or email the store alex@ukulele.co.uk. I'm going to be trying to do a few more of these 10 comparison videos again, as they are the videos most of you are looking for and using as a reference when purchasing a ukulele or learning more about the ones you already have. I really hope you've enjoyed the video, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.